G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today we're going to be looking at a sort of secret buff, if you will, that the J35D was given during the patch. And it's kind of unexpected, but if you think about it really carefully, it makes perfect sense. The J35D is best performing at sea level. In fact, it's fastest if you take into account I believe it's the IAS. IAS is the one that doesn't change with altitude from memory. The J35D is one of the fastest planes at this tier. The only plane that I think is faster at sea level is the F104S and maybe the F104G. But that's about it. This plane does very easily 1300 and I think it was like 70 or 80 with the missiles on. And you're going to be outrunning Phantoms at sea level without any problem. And now that the meta has forced everyone to go down to deck to avoid the AIM-7s and the R3Rs and the R530s, I think it is, you've got yourself the perfect storm. You now have a plane that performs well at altitude and a dogfight that is happening at low altitude as well. The J35D was a great plane at the start when it got its RB24Js, I think they are. But now, it is actually really, really competitive. And it doesn't even need the radar-guided missiles. Of course, they would be kind of nice to have as an option, but you don't really need them. As I've shown in a couple of other videos that I've put up on the channel regarding the F4 Phantom, you don't actually need the AIM-9s. I've found recently that a lot of fights have been happening at low altitude a lot more often, just because people aren't climbing because they're getting yeeted by AIM-7s. And so in response to that, they're going to go where the radar is full of ground clutter and therefore doesn't pick them up as easily. And it's also easier to get AIM-7 kills from below, so, it makes perfect sense. Whereas AIM-9s, because they're heat-seeking, they don't get cluttered up by ground clutter, which makes it a lot easier for you to get kills at low altitudes with them. And of course, we have the perfect candidate here. The J35 has 4 of those, and whilst the RB24Js are considered to be kind of crap, they really aren't. Not only that, to top it off, the J35D has really good turn rate. In fact, I believe it's better than the Mirage, and my god, this thing just performs really nicely. The only thing it doesn't have is acceleration, and you really don't need to worry too much about having no acceleration. It's kind of one of those things. It's just a nice plane. At the beginning of the patch, or at least when it was first given its RB24Js, it kind of wasn't for me, and I avoided it a little bit, still sticking to the MiG-21 SMT. But now that a lot of people are flying Phantoms, and a lot of people are sticking to the deck, I think I might be playing this thing a lot more. Just because it's more, a little bit more in the meta now, and I kind of like that. This thing was good, but it certainly wasn't one of the better 10.3s. It was kind of one of the, it's pretty good, but I probably wouldn't take it nearly as often. And so a lot of people did tend to shelf the plane once they got it. However, now I actually see a really good little niche for it, and it's pretty damn nice to have on the battlefield. So, MiG-21 here is looking fairly juicy, but there is a Mirage. Now, what I'm going to do is pop myself up and avoid both the Mirage and the MiG-21, warming up, or cooling down rather, a missile just for that Jaguar, just for him, and I boop him in the face with that bad boy missile. Now, MiG-19s are a bit of a pain in the ass because they can keep energy above you very, very easily. So that missile needs to go for that MiG-19, and unfortunately it seems to not land the target. Now I have a MiG-21 MF on my ass, which is really, really bad news, and you can see I'm dumping a lot of speed here, which is not really a great idea, but I'm just avoiding the MiG-21 there, and now I finally have him cornered where I want him. I'm going to warm up myself a little missile, send a few Aidens or Deefers down his way, and get the hell out of there because there's a MiG-19S coming in. Keep that missile ready, and he just misses me right there. Gonna go for another reversal here, but I decide that, you know what, he can have the missile. Hopefully he gets a really nice present, and I managed to land a critical hit. Now the MiG-19, for some reason, seems to be a bit more durable when it comes to taking missile hits. I think that might be down to its ability to, keep the damage cone on one of the vertical stabilizers. But honestly, it doesn't really matter because as soon as it gets hit with one missile, it's kind of fucked because it doesn't have any turning capabilities, and sometimes you even manage to hit an engine. Now, this particular F4E who's sitting behind the critted MiG-19 is kind of wasting a lot of time taking him out. So you know what? I'm going to go and claim my kill, and I'm going to try and get myself the F4E while I'm at it. He's still going, and he manages to blow a lot of ammunition on it. Now, another F4E comes in, and the Mirage is also starting to come in. That F4 is going away, and the F4E is turning around, so I need to sort of pitch up and maybe go for this guy, or go for the Mirage. I managed to get a nice hit on the Mirage. Unfortunately, it does not result in anything terribly critical, and so I need to either go and finish him off, or go for this MiG-21 who's coming right around me. Do you see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these low-speed dogfights? The MiG-21 SMT whizzes past me, giving me a great shot on the Mirage. I'm looking for him there, and I just don't turn the plane around enough. You can see I'm still bleeding speed, but the Mirage is basically fucked here. He's got nothing else, and now I'm down to 10 rounds of ammunition. I've gotten myself a few kills, and the Phantom is coming straight for me. I'm worried that I'm going to get an AIM-9J right up my ass, but it looks like he's just going to come in for the guns. He might be out of ammunition, and I just managed to avoid getting hit with those missiles. Speaking of missile, I think it's a Phantom? Was it a Phantom? I'm not really sure. Someone gets hit by a missile, and I managed to barely escape again with my life. Just in time for the MiG-21 to come in for a lovely little shot. I'm pretty low on ammo and I'm pretty low on fuel at this point, and I need to get my ass back to base to get myself some more missiles in order to deal with these guys coming straight for me. Now, this will be the only battle that I'll show, and unfortunately it doesn't quite go my way, but you'll kind of see why, and we can have a little chat about that maybe in the comments section below. I have talked about this particular issue quite a lot, but let's take a look at the J35. As I'm passing the 900 km/h mark, I am accelerating really, really quickly. And this is a great thing because you can really abuse that in the J35D against Phantoms, because the Phantoms will tend to sort of get themselves up to speed quite quickly. But if you can keep below 900, you have a real edge on them because you'll get to that sort of level of acceleration quite quickly, and of course you'll be able to exceed them very, very quickly. And that'll make them turn, and that'll make them a prime candidate for a lovely AIM-9J or some beautiful missiles, because we all love some AIM-9Js, or they're technically AIM-9P3s, but who cares? Anyway, the J35, honestly, it's a good plane now. It's a really good plane. It has fairly decent endurance. It has pretty good guns. It has enough missiles. It has great maneuverability. Its energy retention at super high speeds is actually not that bad in a turn because it compresses a little bit. But as soon as you sort of drop below that sort of 800 mark, you really, really start to bleed that speed. And when you do bleed your speed, I think I was quoted in one particular video saying, when you lose speed, you really lose speed. And I think I'm going to roll with that. When you lose speed, you really lose your speed. And you tend to dump a lot of it. Now, stupid old me tried to cut into his turn while I was on the ground, traveling at 150 kilometers an hour or something like that, and I managed to break the plane just about to get strafed on the runway. And this brings me to the issue. I'm here to genuinely repair and rearm, and I get strafed by a Mirage, which is kind of shit, but I get it. He wants to end the game. I don't really appreciate the runway strafing, but it's okay. No big deal. So, what should we do? Discuss in the comments. I'd also like to point out that I managed to get more kills than the entirety of my team combined. Lovely. It's always great to have a good supportive team. Oh no. Anyway, that's the J35. It's actually really competitive now, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I played maybe a dozen matches in it, and I've really been enjoying my time in it. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching. There's a screenshot. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.